Hello, and welcome to another episode of What I Learned on my MBA today. So, the start of the second full week, I think we're all starting to realise just how intense and how fast this year is going to go. Intense because we're finding that the amount of reading is extreme. Particularly, most of us haven't been in education for a while, and there's some people are finding that they're up almost all night doing the reading for the next day's course, which isn't ideal. Let's hopefully that'll improve as time goes on with practice. Certainly, our lecturers seem to think that'll be the case. Also, I think in terms of how fast, when you actually look at the calendar for each module and realise just how far we've already gone in them, you start actually thinking about the assignments you're going to do for assessments in each of these modules. And this is all happening a lot faster than I think any of us expected, which is why I suppose they're starting us off gently with just the two of our first two core modules at this point, with the second two later this autumn. It definitely is autumn now. Today, this morning was really, really cold. Apparently down to about 2 degrees overnight. So it's, winter is coming. Definitely winter is coming. Or as we call it here, that's a lovely day. I think interesting thing today has been working on my first assignment over the weekend, which is personal development assignment 1. And first part of that was reflecting on an important thing, a sort of key learning moment, and also how your recent career brought you to this program. I found that my key moment was actually something that happened several years ago, but that was quite a shock at the time, and which I hadn't realised how much it really did affect everything I've done since. And part of the reason for that, there's a useful model, Kolb's learning cycle. So the cycle says you start off with an experience. You go from the experience to reflection, so thinking about the experience, then to abstract conceptualization, just to say, trying to draw that experience into a broader theory of what you could do to make it better in the future, then to experimentation, and finally to new experiences that come from the experimentation. The problem is that because I'm naturally inclined towards reflection and theorising, and kind of disinclined from experimentation, I don't like taking that kind of risk, particularly with what had actually happened. I wasn't willing to run this idea past support groups, of whether family, friends, past colleagues, or my new colleagues at this time. And so I got locked into a model of behaviour that was definitely less than ideal, quite harmful in the long run. And I'm only now, I think, seeing the full extent of just what that can do and why, and hopefully how to break out of that. So one of the things that's coming from that is, for our personal development, we have to try to pick areas we're going to work on. So I'm focusing on emotional resilience, which is to say being able to deal with shocking, traumatic, upsetting, or indeed delightful things that happen to you. Take them all in your stride a little bit more, which is something I've always struggled with, and which I think this is certainly suggesting will be useful. Now, what really surprised me was when I showed my draft piece to a colleague, one of the other guys on my cohort. The reaction was, wow, that's some pretty bad stuff, but also suddenly opened up and said, I've been struggling with the same sort of thing. We found that we're both going to work on our emotional resilience, and part of the assignment is also to come up with a plan for how you're going to improve this thing that you've selected. And so we ended up discussing what we could do, and part of that's going to be actually working together on some exercises that we know of from the course books, and actually supporting each other and reflecting on it. So it really is a good example of how the small group cohort experience here at Henley really does generate fantastic differences in how you end up acting and get far more out of it than you would from just, I think, a pure academic course such as an online MOOC or similar. So that's my thought for today. It's a bit of a somber one, I'm afraid, but that's I think it's going to be in the long run a very useful and positive thoughts. And tomorrow we're working on a case study around the Cirque du Soleil, so hopefully I'll have some slightly more upbeat and interesting things to talk to you about then. In the meantime, let me know if you have any questions, comments or thoughts, and see you again tomorrow. Thanks and good night.